Alright, what's up guys? Christopher Clark here. Going to be doing some live painting. Continuing this Batpod scene here I've been working on for a couple days. This is actually oil paint. This is not digital. This is real paint. Here's a real pile of brushes. I'm going to paint this little guy right here. Let me adjust this. So it's a little more in front of me. And I can move this over a little bit, I think. I think I'm going to move this up too, just so it's right in front of me here. There we go. And I'll try not to get in the way. Okay. Got the old fistful of brushes here. Okay, I blocked this stuff in, but I gotta make some decisions now. Where's the actual form is gonna go? And this is the tire. Where's the edge of that tire? I got all these brushes so I can switch. Machine gun thing here. This is the Batpod from Dark Knight, which I personally think was one of the best Batman movies, especially of all the new ones. But you know, of all time, I'm still kind of a fan of the old school Michael Keaton, Jack Nicholson Batman. I did grow up with those, so I'm probably a little biased. Follow that. This is some interesting perspective in this painting. Linear perspective. So much fun. There's a little bit of a gap. There we go. Okay, this goes all the way down. Ellipses in perspective. That's always fun. This one is bigger than that one. Let's see here. Maybe I should make this one larger because it's just awesome. I think I'm going to. Yeah, let's make that a big giant ass gun there. That's called artistic license. Change whatever I want. Clean that up a little bit. This is nothing. Try to make my underpainting nice and crisp so I could not have to guess at certain things, but there's some little noodly, sketchy details I still need to iron out once in a while. That's okay. You guys are welcome to ask questions if you want. I'll glance over when I remember to look at the chat thing. That's really important to get some of these straight, sharp edges amidst all this painterly goodness. Let's see, that's gonna be a little warmer. We're gonna assume that's gonna cast a shadow. And that is another gun down here. There's a little light. Oh yeah, that's the same light that's on the other side. That's that light. There's one there too. Cool. Let's start. Make a little glow. Got all these brushes because they all have a different color on them. So I'm not going to wash the brush every 10 seconds. Okay, throw a little light right here. Some reflected light off there. Nice. Let's put a little more right there. Highlight, highlight. Okay. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be shadow. I don't necessarily want to fill in every detail because it's kind of cool. It's like Batman and his costume. It works very well when it's much in shadow. Kind of like Darth Vader. When all the lights are turned on, you can see all the details of the costume. It's not actually that menacing. Or not as menacing as it could be. Yeah, I'll leave that a little sketchy because it's kind of cool. Okay, I'm going to do this tire. This is this big fat tire. Top, I want to make sure it looks like it's moving really fast. Right down there. It's this big, giant, fat thing. Such a cool bike design. Okay. Might use a bigger brush for some of this. I mean, once I get this established. So I got warm and cool brushes. Warm light coming from this side from this explosion. Cool light from the other side, just to make it interesting. Because that's usually what you'll see. Warm light and cool light on either side. Makes for interesting lighting. Sometimes you go back and forth and paint the background and the object in the background until you get the edges right that you like. Okay. Yeah, I might use a bigger brush for some of this here. Gotta mix some paint. This is my first broadcast on Twitch. I've usually been broadcasting on Instagram. But I totally wouldn't mind the larger audience that Twitch has. Because on Instagram, it only shows people who are your friends already. It's not open to the public. Kind of a bummer. I'm going to have to add another highlight to that gun to make it more visible. Okay, so these treads, painting the treads later, just want to get the that turns bluish. Turns cool real quick as it's getting away from this light of the explosion. And there's a couple different planes to this tire. This is one. Kind of dry brushing this on here. And the other plane is right here-ish. Ooh, there's a nasty ellipse there. And then it kind of turns green or something here for a brief moment before it is totally in shadow. Yeah, I like seeing the color and the lines and stuff underneath. I don't want to get rid of those because it's cool. Okay. Now this plane here, darker. It's all about the plane changes. And the treads will help me define that too in a second. Change there. It is. Ooh, let me polish up this back side of this bike here. Or the tire. That is wrong. Needs to be flatter at the bottom. And then more shadow. There we go. Ha! What's up, Alberto? Good to see you, man. I didn't know you did Twitch. You keep calling me master. I don't know if you're joking or what, but you're pretty fucking good too, man. This a little higher. There we go. this needs to go up a little higher. Ellipses in perspective are so, they're I think one of the most challenging things to draw. Yeah, is that right? This needs to come over a little more. It's very easy to tell if someone knows their perspective or not. You look at their ellipses, you're like, ooh, gotta work on that. And this is a strange object. Cool. Let's move this up. Yeah, concentric ellipses in perspective, like a tire. Really tough. That looks pretty good. I might blur some of that edge later. Let me throw some treads on there, or rather, I'm gonna highlight, a little more highlight. Even trying to do my brush strokes in the direction of this ellipse. And let's put a nice white one right there. Not white, but nice bright. Yeah, to show that side plane really well. Yeah, I'll fix that gun turret later. One stroke at a time. And I might even chisel this off a little more. There we go. Those are right. Okay, let's add some treads. Okay, only gonna see the ones going with the tire because this thing is moving so damn fast. I almost don't want to make these too pronounced. Let's try a couple. This also exposes the errors in your ellipses if you haven't done them well enough. Like that. That's better. Yeah, I'm not going to do all of them, but I'll do a few. I'm only going to do the vertical ones. If I did the horizontal ones, then it wouldn't look like it was moving. Okay, those came out pretty good. Let's do a little bit more orangey at the top here. Yeah, you wouldn't see them all the way. We'll hint at them at the very top here. How's that? That looks pretty good. Yeah, you can still see those lines going through here. That's kind of cool. Those are like these speed lines I did. Oops, just painted on my phone. Oh well. Oh, let me fix this gun barrel. Okay. Now I can move back a little bit. So we're working on the side of the bike and his knee. Let me go and adjust this. That's more in front of me. There we go. I'll drop it down a tiny bit. Okay. This is actually it's a great exercise in values. Values, of course, being light or dark, not like, you know, moral values, not the same. Yeah, this Batpod really is one dark silhouette with details in it. And if you think of it like that way, it's a lot easier to plan the whole thing and execute it. Sharp. And that's the whole thing, just doing it little tiny piece at a time. There's some kind of a pipe going back here. Here's another one. See, I indicated these in the under drawing, the under painting and such. When the paint was still wet, when I was first painting the first layer, I have a clay shaper tool that's like a piece of rubber on a stick, basically. It's for doing clay sculpting, but it's really great to carve away oil paint when it's still wet. You can just sort of scrape it away and draw in it, so I can indicate to myself where some of these pieces are, and then just paint them in later. Okay, this looks like the knee pad. So you can go back and forth, dark and light on your object. Paint the positive space, paint the negative space until you get the angle on the edge that you want. Little fun little highlight there, whatever that is. Little bits of shiny things that are in the dark shadow there. Okay, here's a nice light plane. Let's try this one. Sometimes you gotta switch hands. Just to get a better angle. And there's little, tiny little great things on here. Let's see. Little bevel thing. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's the knee rest part. And then, yeah, this is the back of his leg right here. Paint the whole thing and then add some details in it afterward. Okay, there's that part of his leg. His leg is bent, so there's a little crease right there. Little piece of armor, plating. Oop, there we go. Plane on the side of this little thing. It's all about plane changes. Where is that? Right there. Okay, that's his leg. That's his foreleg. I gotta do the back of his leg now. Let's see, where is that? That's here, yeah, his leg is angled pretty well. This is real foreshortened. There's his boot. Yeah, there, that looks pretty good. Some kind of a strap. And here's the back of this leg brace thing. Little details on this thing. Little divot. These little details that make so much difference. There's that, and there's a little highlight right there. These brushes are not my most fine detail brushes, but just trying to keep this a little looser of a painting. foreshortened ellipse. Nice. Nice and round. We had a touch of highlight on the back. Highlighting his nice shiny boots. I'll eventually, I want to do an expression on his face. Like a angry, intense, riding a Batpod at 100 miles an hour through a city kind of expression. My music died. Let's put some music on. I'm trying to play it low so that Twitch doesn't mute my channel. So I can hear it, but I'm assuming you guys can't. If you can hear it, tell me. That means I should turn it down. But I can barely hear it, so I don't know how you guys could also, but you never know. Here's this foot plate thing. Like every single detail in this thing has to be totally thought out. Like, what are all these pieces? Where is he going to put his foot? You know? There's hints of some treads on this tire down here too. I gotta get those. Little metal things under there. What's next? Oh, the rest of this little foot plate. It has little marks in it. highlight. Metal has little highlights where it changes planes. And then, oh, there's a little, looks like a spoke coming out of that, an axle, I mean, coming off of that back wheel. There we go. I might leave some of that sketchy stuff at the back to make it look whooshy, more whooshy. Is that even a word? Okay, there's a little bit of machinery. Visible through here. Yeah, stuff you can see through the bottom of the bike here. Let's fill this wheel out a little more. I did all this and underpainting with a much larger brush, much less accurate, so but I don't mind if it's all kind of loose, you know, it's kind of fun. I consider myself an impressionist. I like it when things are loose and painterly. Leaves more to the imagination, makes it look more lifelike, I think. Yeah, I'm going to leave all those lines in there. This is about where those treads are. Let's see. These are going to be fairly dark. Find that ellipse. You can only see a small part of it, but it's there. Yeah, it's pretty good. Maybe a couple of these I'll extend a little lower. I like that it's kind of in shadow though. Makes Batman kind of easy to paint. It's all in shadow. matching that color. It's got a little bit of green in it. There we go. Yeah, that chisels out the side of that. Okay. That looks like it's about it for Batman and the Batpod are about done. I can do some of his cape now. Let me tilt that up a little bit. Yeah, let's do some of his cape. My bigger brushes for this. I was always told that you should use the biggest brush you possibly can for any part, so that there are fewer brush strokes. He's got some more highlight on his cape. It's kind of a purpley, warm purpley. I definitely want to keep this real loose. Oops. Make sure his head is in front of that. I almost want to say apron. I'm wearing an apron, Batman's wearing a cape. Very, very different. Cool cape. Yeah, attached to his shoulder. Awesome. So here's cape is his cape is black, but something that's black is never painted black. There are many, many colors in black. This weird greenish tint again. Okay. Yeah, I want his cape to kind of look like tattered too. For some reason, on a superhero like Batman, that always looks awesome. When it's kind of tattered looking. I also don't want to use too thick a paint because I do, again, I like transparent layers of paint. That's what I'm discovering. I'm gonna bust out some transparent medium here. Will help this flow a little bit and be a little more transparent. Oh, let me also plug in my phone so it doesn't die while I'm recording. swing the cord over that way. There we go. Technical difficulties managed. Okay. Let's go for I'm going to keep this real loose. I think it's blowing back and to the right. Not a lot of detail in the cape, I think. I'm going to leave it kind of shadow. Oh, here's my dark brush. I got different values and temperature brushes. Got a dark, cool brush, a dark, warm brush, a light, cool and warm, and my little arsenal of brushes here. Okay, this is like the underside of his cape, so it might be a little darker under here. And this side might be a little lighter. Add some strokes in the direction of the vanishing point. Big flowy flappy cape. Flowy flappy. Okay, I might be done with the cape for now. Whoa, loud music, sorry about that. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Well, good, Batman's done. For the moment, I'll come back and do his face. I might do this city behind him. This is like a city street. Let's see. Brushes. I got enough brushes to do this. Let's do this gray, cool gray sky behind him. This could be like, yeah, this could be night, but I wanted this something in the distance to be light. Scooch over here a little bit. comes right there, right to the vanishing point. And that's where this reflection on the ground comes in. Do that more later. Let's see here. I think I need another brush. Got a whole bunch of the same size brush. These are number 6 flat brushes. I use number 6 and number 2 probably the most. All right. A little lighter. Is that gray? Too transparent. I need that to be a little more opaque. Thought Batman would be a kind of a fun piece because it's really painting a cityscape, which I love to do anyway, so. Let's make these lighter. This is good old aerial perspective. The further you are from something, the lighter it appears to be, or rather, you know, less value contrast and all that stuff. Okay, my little city is going to have some lights in it. Get my warm brush out. For a few minutes. Yeah, painting is always like several minutes of mixing a color and then like 1 or 2 brush strokes with it. And here's this distant light, kind of greenish, yellowish. Distant glow of the city. And these lights all gonna have some reflections. Oops. It's got to be straight. Now it's starting to look like a city, isn't it? Isn't it funny how that works? There's that. There's a couple underneath his bike too, actually, that you can't see. Or you can't see the lights, but they're up there somewhere. But I can put these in. Would the light appear over the reflection of his bike? No, I don't think so. Put those straight. I should look at those extra careful. So now it looks like he's on a wet street. That's what I want. I definitely want this real loose and blurry, like it's the background. Lighter there. Yeah, I might not put, there's usually lots of colors in a city, but I probably won't put that many because I want this to be more subdued. Yeah, and once I put some lights in there, that'll all sort of make sense. In fact, let's try that now. I try to not do them until the very end. Highlights come last. These won't be pure white, they'll be a little yellowish. I want this to look blurry. Almost like a camera blur. Like a lens blur, you know. Don't know if that's reading right. Let's do a few. Let's see what it looks like. Distant lights of the old city. Good old Gotham. Gothic City, where everyone's a goth all the time. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Yeah, you really only need to indicate a city. Let's add some more of that glowy glare color. Places. Apparently Batman's the only one on the street right now. Probably better. just because. Real abstract. Supposed to look like he's going really fast, so less detail on the background and more focus on him. There we go. Yeah, that reflection on the ground looks cool too. I think the light is a little too light. Let's tone that down just a little. Yeah, I'll probably make that brighter. This headlight thing. I think also when this dries, I can add a little glaze of some glow there. That could be cool. A little glow sort of shooting out from this one too. Okay, now I gotta do some sort of details around this part of the city that there's not much to do. The city is mostly silhouette. Which is what I want. But like up here, there might be a couple things. And then this explosion, which would be really fun. That's gonna be super loose and lots of paint. Let's move some things and my big brushes. Okay, let's adjust some things here. So I can do this properly. Move the old camera over. Go. Hopefully that's not too much of an angle. I can move this closer even. Okay. Boom, right there. Gonna need to clean off. I don't need any cool brushes for this part. I want all warm tones on my brushes here. I'll keep one as a dark because I'm going to use probably some of that dark there. The darkish dark. You know, I might even want to do palette knife for this, not even a brush. What am I thinking? Palette knives. And some of these bad boys here. And some of my trusty, I use this solvent-free gel by Gamblin. Works pretty good as a medium. Okay. And I'm going to clear off. Sometimes you just got to sit here and prep things before you can actually get to painting. So sorry about that, but I guess I can point this. You guys can see what I'm doing at my palette. If this Twitch thing works out, I may get another camera and point it at my palette. So I use a glass palette, and I'm scraping it with just a blade, a paint scraper thing. In fact, I think I'm going to clean all my pigments off. So when you take your paint out, you always get it from the side of the paint, not the top. So you can clean it off later and you don't contaminate your nice pure pigment with some other random color. Yeah, I'm gonna need a nice pure white there. So this is good to do once in a while. Okay, this should be good. Yeah, I think. Let's come back up here. Yeah, there we go. Blow stuff up now. Let's blow some stuff up. I probably want to start with some of these yellows first. Oh yeah, palette knife will be way more fun for this. Get some of that texture. Use a lot of paint. Probably leave those darks as they are. They're cool looking. I try to do as much as I can during the underpainting so that I don't have to do it later. I try to get my darks as dark as I want them, as early as possible. Yeah, basically right around, there's going to be white in the brightest parts of this explosion. So I'm deliberately leaving some of the stuff underneath exposed because it's cool. I might get my other palette knife too. So I got these two. I have the old Bob Ross palette knife, and then just a regular one. This one's Italian. Ooh, that's fancy. But it's really flexible. So it's really nice against, and you need a glass palette to do a palette knife kind of stuff. Let's get some paint on here. And of course, what's great about oil is this paint doesn't dry. So I can move it around for a while on the palette and on the painting. Both really, really powerful. Yeah, I can make that a little flatter. anybody who does acrylic, there are applications for acrylic. You know, I personally just love oil, and I think you should change to oil. And if you have specific things about acrylic that you cannot change, please let me know. I'm curious. But any of your reasons why you love acrylic, I guess it dries fast. That's the reason I don't like it. You can add faster drying mediums to oil to make it dry faster, so that it might dry in a day. You know, sometimes by the end of the day. So it can be pretty quick, but it doesn't dry while you're still trying to work on it. Like acrylics, you're still trying to mix your color and they're dry already. Drives me nuts. And then you come back to your palette and your palette is full of dry paint. You got to mix your color all over again, just over and over and over again. And then make extenders to make it dry more slowly. But if you're trying to get slower drying paint, then just go to oil instead of trying to make your acrylic dry more slowly. Unless you're someone, you know, like Alberto. I know you do a lot of like layers right on top all the time, and that definitely lends itself to acrylic, where you can instantly paint on a dry layer. I have to say, I've been playing around with doing acrylic underpaintings. This one is not. This is an oil underpainting, but I have been doing that once in a while, where I can layer dry paint. So I'm not trashing acrylic entirely. It does have its uses. If you need instantly dry paint, then that's exactly what it does. It is instantly dry paint. I think for getting variations and things and subtleties, like I would never do a portrait in acrylic. I think that would be a nightmare. But there are some things that it is very good for. But if you want to get real subtle stuff and you want to have really great blendy edges in your work, then oil is definitely the way to go for that. See, I'm going to switch. So I'm outlining all the edges where it's going to be white. That looks great. Looks like fire. Alberto, you were saying, I've seen you paint, and your stuff is fantastic, and you do acrylic, so hey, that works for you. I'd say keep it going if you like that, because you do great stuff with it. All these transparent layers on dry paint, basically, which works pretty well for what you're doing. There's some more in there. I would say give it a try. Give oils, give them a chance. Because they could throw things in a different light that you have never expected. And maybe you can find a way to combine them, kind of like what I've been playing with. If you do that, you have to use acrylic on the bottom and the oil on the top. You can't go the other way around. You cannot add acrylic paint on top of oil paint, because as we all know, oil and water don't mix. You can do acrylic on the bottom, let it dry completely, dry and cure, and all the water evaporates and stuff. And then you can add your oil on top. You cannot go the other way around. I mean, you can do it, it might stick for a little bit, but you're running the chances that your painting's gonna disintegrate and fall apart in, how many years. And that's not fun for your collectors. They buy your nice painting and then it starts to peel and crack and bubble because good working properties weren't adhered to, Let's do a little kablam there, moving. little piece of debris. I'm going to need more white. See, as far as white goes, I actually use a different brand. I use regular oil paint for the rest of my stuff, but I use Lucas Berlin for my white. It's a water soluble paint. I know that's weird. It's an oil paint that you can use water with as a medium. I never use water with it. You can if you're like allergic to mineral spirits and stuff. But it actually does dry faster than traditional oil paint, especially the white. Like I use Williamsburg brand oil paints, and they dry in a couple days. They're pretty fast. But if I just use regular titanium white of an oil paint, it could be like if I'm troweling it on here like this, it could be a week, 2 weeks before it's touch dry. It's so slow. Just Christ, it's so freaking slow. I don't have time for that shit. I like it to be wet when I'm working with it, and then maybe if it could be dry tomorrow, that would be totally fine. That's kind of my plan. It's wet now, and it's dry tomorrow. Because sometimes, it would be nice if I could like push a button and make the paint dry when I wanted it to. Because then I could work my stuff, do what I gotta do, and then, push a button, have it be dry, and then go back and work over it. You can do that with acrylics, and that is one thing that's nice about it. But I would personally take the mixability and slow dryingness of oil, and you can speed it up with adding stuff. And also, oil has a much better translucent, glowy property than acrylic does. Acrylic is the vehicle for holding the pigment together is an acrylic polymer. So when it dries, it is literally plastic, and it looks like plastic. It's very plasticky looking. And doesn't have the same sheen and sort of depth that oil does. They have all kinds of mediums and varnishes and stuff that will help with that. So if that's what you got to use, it can still work fine. But in general, oil is considered the more translucent, luscious version of the painting medium. Well, that's looking pretty darn good. See how quick that can be? Kablam! Yeah, some of that underpainting just looks so stinking good. It looks weird transparent next to all this opaque. You probably can't see that in the picture. I almost want to add some stuff to it, but God, it just looks so good as it is. Transparent paint has a different look to it than opaque paint does, and you can't duplicate it. So that's why I've been liking my transparent paints. Let's make a nice sort of burnty orange color. Don't want it too saturated. Once again, mixing my color for a while. this on in certain places. Is that too much? Yeah, I just need to bridge the gap between the opaque paint and the transparent paint. There's also little bits sort of burning through here. So now I got the brush with its bristles, and it's nice to get a variety of edges. And I can blur some of those a little bit if I want. I keep saying kablam! You gotta make the sound effects in your head. Really helps. Let's see, here's more debris. Let's mix up. That was a nice color. Let's mix up a whole lot more of it. This is just cadmium orange, a little bit of transparent oxide brown, which not a lot of companies make that color. Williamsburg makes such a great version of it. They make it at all. It's great, but it's really dark on its own. And it mixes down to some beautiful browns. Okay, here's this thing. It's like pieces flying, debris, you know. Maybe there's a little bit of smoke. A nice soft edge there. Yeah, a lot of this is going to be transparent underpainting, which is great. It's just less work for me. Yeah, underpainting definitely has a tendency to look more earthy, which I really like sometimes. You can add the saturation and the varieties in the color later with your opaque paint. But these nice earthy tones are really cool. You put a little bit of transparent paint on top of that and wham, it looks so good. And see, I'm just implying detail. I'm not really painting much detail. I think that's more the trick. You're implying way more detail than you're actually painting, because that's what your mind sees anyway. Kablooey! A little bit in there. And then there is some reflection here. Gotta add some color to that. Let's get some more. See if you can see what I'm doing here. Sometimes I'll do this. I use my palette knife in one hand to mix color, my brush in the other to get up and paint with. It's just super helpful. Little trick. Okay. reflection. Reflection has the soft quality. It's not sharp and angled like. Kabloom! That looks so good. Gotta make the sounds. Yeah. Okay, and then I need a little bit of a shadow underneath. That's too dark. Let's do some shadows. Yeah, transparent brown oxide is such a great color. Shadow under the car, a little bit of reflection for it. Helps ground that a little better. Okay, let's take a look at that and see what it looks like. I might go with a brush and push it this way just a little so it's moving with the rest of the painting. Wipe off the old palette knife. Wipe off this palette knife just so I don't get paint everywhere. I got a blending brush. I got the Bob Ross blending brush. I love Bob Ross's products. He makes such great stuff. This is the blender brush. And they're not expensive at all. Their brushes can be really pricey, but this one might have been like, I don't know, 10 or 15 bucks. Sometimes a brush this size would be like 50 bucks from another brand. So it's really nice. His products are very reasonable. Okay, I'm standing now. Let's see. Let me look at it. I have a mirror back here. Yeah, I'm going to blend that just a little bit. Following my perspective lines that I so painstakingly drew. Try to not paint over Batman. Oops, got a couple. So now it's got white all over. Let me wipe that off. Clean off the brush there. I don't want to ruin all those fun edges, but I do want to make it a little more moving. Maybe especially on the edge here. There we go. Now that is happening. He just blew that car to shit, man. And he's flying past it. See, great, awesome brush. Now I need some details in the city here. Some of those are angled the wrong way. Not too many though. Don't think I need that many. Because everything reads so well. Let's take my dark brush here and put a little bit of medium on it. Let's say, let me get my ruler out. I got me a yardstick because we like to draw straight lines. Let's pick one. Let's pick a spot. Let's say there. That's a little too dark. too saturated. Mixing up some color here. How's that? Now it's too light, can't see it. Somewhere in the middle. Right over my vanishing point. I'm just going to set the ruler right down on there like this. Oops. Stupid thing is always in my way. Maybe there's some windows right there. There. Maybe there's one there. Quick little easy window. And I might blend these later. These are going to be blurry anyway. Let's say the next row is going to be like there. Let's put a couple more of those perspective lines in here, just because they're cool and helpful. Some of these I can eyeball because they're only going to be short ones. Maybe there's one here. Right there. The sidewalk, if there was one, would probably be here. Maybe I'll indicate that. And maybe there's a row of doors right there. Just a couple indications of architectural details can add a lot. I'm not painting a building. I'm painting the motion behind him. Maybe there's like a Gothic window. 'Cause why not? Yeah, those add a lot. Without really doing very much, you can add so much detail. Maybe I'll blend those a tad. Definitely clean off this brush. I don't blend all the yellow that was on there. Yeah, just blend them a little bit. Still visible, just very subtle. Okay. Now the only thing I got left to do is his mouth. Which, you know, I probably could leave it, but it would be such a cool little subtle thing to have a little indication of a mouth there. I think I'm gonna take a break and think about what I want to do with that. So anyway, that's it for now. Zoom back and you guys can see the progress. So thanks so much for watching, and if you guys start following me and commenting or send me a message, and you know, I'd love to do this more often. So let me know if Twitch should be my new streaming platform. So awesome. Thanks so much, guys. Take care.